It is 18 minutes past 8. Good morning to you. A new device designed for people living with Tourette's syndrome is being described as a game changer by campaigners.
Yes, the wearable gadget aims to reduce the involuntary sounds and movements known as tics by intercepting signals to the brain. It's currently being tested in a UK-wide clinical trial, while our reporter Navtej Johal has been finding out more.
13-year-old Milo loves drumming, drama and defeating his enemies in video games. 4 years ago, he was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome. His mum says at the time, she was devastated.
You sort of go through a period of sort of grief, if I'm honest. You know, you get a diagnosis that you don't know much about. I didn't know anything about it. And you're scared and you're worried and you're like, what's going to happen?
When I was first diagnosed, I thought, oh God, what am I going to do? I'm going to be bullied for this. I feel like just shortly after that, I think on that front, it doesn't change anything about like who you are as a person and your personality. So as long as you're a good person, people will be nice to you.
Tourette's is a neurological condition which usually starts in childhood and causes a person to make involuntary movements and sounds known as tics.
If I do tic, like if I need to tic and I do it, it's like very shortly after, it will come on stronger and more of them.
Are you trying to suppress a tic right now?
I think, yeah, I am, to be honest, because when you're talking about it, this is certainly worse.
Not everyone is able to suppress their tics. Milo and his mum are happy for us to show what his tics can look like when they've been building up without release. He says they're not painful.
It's easier to do them than to hold them off. But if I'm at school or something, like, I'm not going to just do them because that would be embarrassing in class, and I can leave class, I have a card, or I can ask to go to the loo and I can do it there.
Although symptoms usually improve after several years, there is no cure for Tourette's.
Okay, so this is the prototype device that we've built for the clinical trial.
But this little device could help to change the life of Milo and the estimated more than 300,000 people in the UK with the condition. It's been developed at the University of Nottingham.
By stimulating that nerve, we're able to change the activity in the brain areas associated with producing tics. So we can press a button and for a period of time reduce the likelihood their tics are going to occur without side effects, without adverse events, without having to travel to get treatment. So it's a massive game changer.
The university has now started a national trial to study the effectiveness of the device. The demand to be involved has been overwhelming.
It's been extremely successful, so it's benefited probably around 70% of the people in the trial. They have seen a marked improvement. I get emails every single day from all over the world from people asking either can they buy the device now or can they take part in the clinical trial. I've even had people willing to relocate from the USA, from Singapore, from Australia to the UK for the purpose of participating in the trial.
Soon, Milo will be one of just 135 people to take part in the trial. The group testing the device will use it daily for a month, with everyone giving weekly feedback.
If it works, it'll be really good, because it'll mean I can do those things I haven't been able to do before. I'll be able to experience that childhood magic.
It will be amazing, it will be life-changing for so many people, so it's brilliant to get the opportunity to be part of it.
The trial will last until the end of the year, and the hope is that within a few years the device may be available for wider public use. Milo says he's looking forward to hopefully playing a small part in helping others like him. Navtej Johal, BBC News.
Let's talk about this now with the Chief Executive of Tourettes Action, Emma McNally, who's with us. Morning, Emma.
Hiya, morning.
Fascinated by this device, and we were both asking the same questions.
Yep.
And I know you've worn it to try to see what it feels like. You have a son who has Tourette's syndrome. What does it feel like? Because my first question was, is it like having an electric shock?
It was like just impulses like that, continual on your wrist, just continually like that, and you could feel it kind of going up your arm.
Is it uncomfortable?
It felt slightly uncomfortable to me, but I don't have Tourette's, so I don't deal with tics every day, so it's a different feeling for me than someone wearing it who's got Tourette's.
And how, give me an idea, because you obviously speak to people and families who have Tourette's syndrome, and you see how life is impacted. How could this change someone's life?
It could be a game changer, because we hear from adults who've got Tourette's and they say, oh, if a cure come out, I wouldn't necessarily want a cure because I've lived with this my whole life and it's now a part of me. But then in situations where things are really bad, they would then want something to be able to control the tics. Because there's like, people don't often see the pain that's associated with Tourette's. So the amount of pain that you're in, and to say if I hurt my arm, I'd stop moving my arm. But if you've got Tourette's, even if you've got a sore arm, you're continually going to keep moving that arm. So even though you're in pain, you keep doing the tic and the pain gets worse. So if you had a device that in times when pain are bad, you could wear the device to stop the tics happening, to help with the pain, that would just be a game changer for them.
And how many people are living with Tourette's?
There's over 300,000 people in the UK, adults and children with Tourette's.
And I would imagine people have different symptoms and their response is very different. And I guess a lot may not even know they have it if those symptoms are very mild.
Yeah, it's a spectrum, so it can go from mild to be really debilitating.
Right.
Do you think this stigma around Tourette's has changed? Because it used to be, one, a subject of comedy shows, you know, something to laugh at. It was thought of as the swearing disease, for one, you know, or the swearing illness.
Yeah.
I mean, and when people say Tourette's, do you think that that understanding has changed?
Not really. We're getting there, but not really. People still see it as the swearing condition and see it as being quite comical and a bit of a joke, but it couldn't be further from the truth, really. It can be very, very painful. It could cause you a lot of anxiety being out in public, and I just think people see it as a bit of a joke, and it's not really.
And do you think that almost hinders diagnosis?
100%, yeah. Because I've even heard of adults now who say that they feel like they've got Tourette's, but they weren't diagnosed as a child, and they think it's to do with the parents kind of not wanting to take them because they don't. Some people don't want to be associated with it because it is seen as the swearing condition.
And for that reason, a lot of people probably suffering in silence. I mean, it was the case there for Milo in that report, wasn't it? That he was trying to manage his symptoms on his own. Yeah. A lot of people are having to deal with this. One would hope that trial is successful and that could be one of the solutions. But in the meantime, and we said there, a few years until this might become more mainstream and more widely available, it's a lot of people suffering in silence.
Yeah, definitely. And we get people coming to us at Tourettes Action saying, what can I do? What is there to help? And there's not that much. One of the main things we're fighting for is more medical care, because there's not enough around the country at the moment. It's predominantly London-based. There's no nice guidelines either for Tourette's, which we're fighting for. So what happens through the country is, depending on where you are, you might see CAMS in one area, another area you might see community peds, another area you might see a neurologist, another area there might be no one. So basically people are fighting to try and get care and they don't know where to go. There's no consistency throughout the country.
Very, very frustrating. But look, this gadget, hopefully, one step towards, towards helping. Emma, it's been good to talk to you. Thank you so much. Emma McNally there, Chief Executive of Tourettes Action. Thank you.
It's 27 minutes past 8.